it's Eunice from Theory of Simple. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is a first in a couple of videos that I'm going to be putting together regarding my Christmas decor and some tutorials on how I created some nice high-end neutral decor out of things from the Dollar Tree and from Target and other stores like that. So stay with me as I take you on a little tour of my home as I got it ready for Christmas this year. The first place you see when you enter my home is my entry, which is really tiny. It's just as wide as my front door, and it has an access way to the kitchen from there and then into my living area. It's really just a pass through, but I wanted to create just a little bit of space, a little vignette that would let me know that I'm home and to welcome people into my home. So I have a little glass top table and a little mirror above it that's just a little place that I can put some decor that will say Merry Christmas. So let's take a look at how I decorated my entry. The first thing I added was a command hook shelf right underneath my mirror, and that way I can take it down later if I don't want to use it. I added these wooden houses that I got from Target's Bullseye Playground. They were $5 and there were 2 sets, and I added these lights behind it to give it some light and some dimension. For my next project, I took these tin cups that I got at the Dollar Tree and I spray painted them with black chalk paint, just to give them a nice black matte finish. I then took a Dollar Tree tree and put it inside the tin cup and filled the tin cups with these pebbles that you can buy at the Dollar Tree, and that gave it some weight and stability for the tree. I also flocked the tree with a little bit of white spray paint just to make it look like there was snow on it. I added some buffalo check ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree and just simply glued it to the tin cup. And then I added a star that I got from a set from the Target Bullseye Playground and just hot glued it to the front. To make the stands, I took these boxes that I got from the Dollar Tree and I covered them with Mod Podge, and I'm using some buffalo check fabric that I got from Michael's, and I'm covering the box with this buffalo check fabric just to tie it into the decor. And after I get all of the cloth in, I actually cover all of the cloth with more Mod Podge just to make sure that it stays all closed together. I don't have it on video here, but I took the top of the boxes and I actually spray painted them with the black chalk paint to give them a black top. I found these pop-up paper stars at Papyrus on clearance a couple years ago, and I'm using them as toppers for the trees. I added some Dollar Tree ornaments and pushed them on the branches, and this is how it all turned out. For this next project, I'm using a card from the Dollar Tree and cutting out some of the squares to use as little messages for the tin frames that I found at the Dollar Tree. You can find some cute cards at the Dollar Tree, and I cut them apart and I glued them together, and this is how they turned out. For the next project, I took this pine cone that I found on the ground and I simply hot glued some of these plastic pearls that I got from the Dollar Tree just to give it a little bit of decoration. Next, I took a jar that I had and I added these Dollar Tree vase fillers in silver and white to give it a little bit of a snow globe effect. The pick that I wrapped around the lid is also from Dollar Tree, and now I just add my pine cone to the jar, and I'm adding some little lights that you put in a wine bottle and adding them to the jar as well for some sparkle. And here's how our little snow globe centerpiece turned out. I added a garland that was $1 from the Dollar Tree, as well as an ornament and stockings from the Target Bullseye Playground that were $5. I wanted to embellish those Target stockings, so I took a bag that I got from the Dollar Tree and I removed the red ribbon, and then I took some twine that I got from the Dollar Tree and wrapped it around this wooden plank that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I made a little tassel. I had a leftover wooden bead from my fall decor that I used along with a piece of a broken branch from the tree, and I simply tied it around the tassel to give it some decoration. I simply tied it around the leg of the table so that it would drape over the front of the stocking, and here's how it looks. And here's a look at how my entryway turned out with all of my Target and Dollar Tree decorations. I love the glow and the holiday cheer that this brings to my entry, and I can see it from anywhere in my living area, so it's really a cheerful spot for me to look at. My mantle is the focal point of my home. It's the first place you see other than my entry when you first come in, and it's visible from all areas of my home other than the bedrooms. So it's really important for me to create something that would have some impact, give some comfort feel, and bring a bit of Christmas into my home while still keeping with that neutral decor that I have going on in my home. And this year I've decided to go with more of that gray, black, white theme with little bits of red and some greenery just to make it all cohesive and come together for Christmas. I found these purses at Target on sale, and I'm measuring the depth to make sure that I have enough of this wood that I'm measuring here to act as a stand for my tree. So I'm simply cutting it, and then I cut some extra pieces to use on my mantle with the chop saw. Then I took a drill and I measured it against the width of the tree stand, and I just drilled a hole into my 4x4. Alright, so now you can see here that after I drilled my 4x4, I just put it into this purse, and now I'm just going to stick in my tree into that little hole. And this piece of 4x4 now gives it good weight into the basket, gives it good height for the little tree, and then I can, it also gives it a place for any sort of topping or topper that I want to put in here, like some moss or something for it to sit down in there. Next thing you want to do is obviously just get it all spread out, because we're going to have to add a lot of greenery to this to fill it out and make it look a little fuller, not like a Dollar Tree tree. And for that I'm going to be using the picks that I bought at Target for $5 in a bag and adding those to this tree. So I'm going to be using these picks that I got from Target for $5. I like them because they have a little bit of a different feel, so it'll make this tree look a little bit more real because I'm mixing in some different types of needles into the tree. I'm simply taking these pick stems and wrapping them around the base of the tree. Okay, so our tree is already looking a little more full. We've added some picks in here. There were 6 of these kind of longer needled ones and 6 that were shorter. So all in all, 12 picks out of that pack were used here. I do have a few things left from that pack that I won't use because they're more of that plastic feel, and I might use them for something else, but they didn't really go for what I wanted in the tree, but I'll use them for something else. Next, I wrapped the tree with battery-operated fairy lights. The next thing I'm going to add to my tree are these little garlands of silver spray-painted pine cones on a wire, and I got these at Dollar Tree. I think the biggest issue is making sure I can unwrap these without breaking them. Next, I'm going to be adding these little ornaments here, these little snowflake ornaments from Dollar Tree. They come 6 to a pack, and there's silver, and there's also these little white ones. And they didn't have any little hanger thing on them, but that's okay, because what I'm really doing is finding these little branches like this, and I'm just sticking that little branch right through the hole, and you can see that's on there nice and steady, and it'll keep it right in the position that I want it to be in. Next, I cut apart these white picks that I found at the Dollar Tree and just inserted them into the tree to give it some bright white color and fullness. I'm using this star that I got from the Target Bullseye Playground to use as a topper on my tree. And it has like a little hair clip, and I'm just clipping it to the top of the tree. I didn't like how that little black clip looked, so I'm taking the snowflake ornament from that set and I'm going to hot glue it to the front of that hair clip. And next I'm sticking with the buffalo check ribbon, and I'm simply gluing some of it onto itself to the back of the purse because I want it removable later. I'm just putting the ribbon on and gluing it to itself so that it'll stay on the purse. Next, I took these wooden stars that I got at the Dollar Tree. They were 6 stars to a package, and I'm simply coloring them with a Sharpie white paint pen marker. And then I'm just going to hot glue it to the ribbon on the purse. I'm taking this dried moss that I got at the Dollar Tree and I'm putting it around the base to cover the wood and to finish it off with a nice natural feel. And now let's take a look at how our topiary turned out. This next project involved these $5 tin houses that I found at the Target Bullseye Playground. Some of them were tin with wood roofs and some of them were tin that were all black. And I thought the all black ones needed a little bit of pop and a little bit of dimension. So I took popsicle sticks and I cut them down to size, and I'm gluing them to the roof just to tie that all in together and add a little bit of color to these black tin houses. These popsicle sticks cut easily with scissors or with a box cutter, and I simply just scored them and broke them when I needed them. I could have used E6000 to glue these to the roof, but I went ahead and used the hot glue so that they would stay. I was afraid that they might slide off with the E6000, and I just thought the hot glue would hold it on easier, but as you can see here, it actually does pop off pretty easy, but they're staying on for now, so I'm leaving them with the hot glue. I'm also thinking that if I don't like the wooden roofs later, I can take these off and pop them off the roof for a different look. On one of the black tin houses, I decided to stain the roof with this weathered gray stain by Varathane. I thought it would match the tin on the other houses and give it a nice, distinct look. On this next tin house, it had a hanging wire and I wasn't sure how I was going to work around that. So I took these dollar store planks and I added magnets to them, and I decided that that way if it didn't work out I could take them off easily, and if I didn't like the look I could take it off easily, and it worked out perfectly, just adding magnets to these planks and then adding them to the roof of this tin house. I got the magnets from Dollar Tree, and I also got my cute little scarf from Dollar Tree. It's actually a little doggy scarf from the dog section. I was on a roll with the magnets, and I took these little wooden ornaments that came from the Dollar Tree. There were a package of about, I don't know, 12 of them, and I'm simply sticking them on the back of these little sticky ornaments, and I'm going to put them on my tin houses. They worked out perfect, they looked great, and now if I decide to remove them or change them for any other decor, it'll work out perfectly. And now let's take a look at how everything all turned out on my mantle. I added some garland and some of these little trees that I got at Target for $5, along with some fairy lights. And you'll see here, these are the 4x4 pieces of wood that I set the houses on to stagger the heights. I took this Mary sign from Target that I got for $5, and I'm hiding the cord behind it for the actual garland lights. I found these beautiful lighted wooden ornaments at Michael's for 50% off, so they were $1.50 each, and I added them to my wrought iron tree that I've had for a while. Then just a basket of blankets, and I'm ready to cozy up by the fire. I hope you enjoyed this little video on how I decorated my entryway and my fireplace and mantle. It was fun for me to take you through my home and take you through the tutorial of how I brought this stuff together. I think it's important during this time in 2020 when there's so much stress going on that we take the time and be present and just find some simple joys that will help us enjoy the holidays. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you like my videos and would like to see more of them, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button. That's always great for me. Until the next video, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.